in the chat box and sharing where are you joining us today, your university or school or institution or city, okay? Thank you and welcome.
¿Quieres interactuar y aprender junto a expertos en políticas, lineamientos e innovación en la enseñanza y validación del idioma inglés? New Directions es un espacio creado por el British Council, donde podrás conectarte con diferentes perfiles expertos de todo el mundo y conocer investigaciones y metodologías de evaluación. ¿Cuándo? Del 1 al 3 de julio, online. Nos acompañarán Barry O'Sullivan, British Council; Beverly Baker, University of Ottawa; Gabriela Kaplan, University of Montevideo y Plan Ceibal; Fumiyo Nakatsuhara, University of Bedfordshire. Queremos que seas parte de este gran encuentro. Te esperamos.
Well, I guess we can start now. So once again, welcome everyone. For ASOCOPE, it's a pleasure to have you all here participating in this event that we prepare for you every month as part of our contribution to the professional development of English teachers in Colombia. In the invitation that we shared with you, we told you about a special surprise that we have for all the participants of this webinar. So you all have, or you will have the chance to win a ticket to an online event that is called New Directions Colombia, New Directions in English Language Assessment Conference. This is an event organized by the British Council. So we will share with you a form in the chat, like in the middle of the presentation, and then at the end. And after the question session of our presentation, we will have a raffle. So please stay with us until the end of our presentation, okay? So I guess that now it's time to welcome to our presenter for today, Juliana Diaz. Juliana, are you ready, right?
Yes, thank you so much, Eliana.
Okay, Juliana, welcome. So she works as a full-time professor and continuing education director at Institución Universitaria Colombo-Americana Única. She has been teaching for 12 years and flipping for her face-to-face online classes at this university for the 3 years. Her research interests, of course, are flipped learning methodology, writing process, and autonomy. She has recently collaborated in writing the book Innovations in Flipping the Language Classroom, 2018, by Jeff Merrin and Adrian Lays, about flipping writing workshops. In 2015, she won the Better Latam Leadership Summit award with the project Flipping English Learning, Improving Our 21st Century Colombian Learners Outcomes Through Technology and Autonomy with Carolina Buitrago. So her presentation today is entitled My Flip Teaching Practice, A Pandemic Journey. So we hope you enjoy this participation. Of course, this is a very interesting topic and is very relevant to the that is I'm pretty sure that it's going to contribute a lot to our teaching practices and the new strategies that we have to implement in our daily classes. So, Juliana, I guess you can start if you want to share your screen with us.
Yes, of
so
course.
We can start. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Eliana. Thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. And thank you so much to all teachers around the world who are sharing some knowledge today. I would like to also learn from you. So I'm going to open the space to learn and know what you are implementing in your classes. So as Eliana mentioned, my presentation is entitled My Flip Teaching Practice is a Pandemic Journey. So again, thank you so much for this invitation to ASOCOPI. And it's a pleasure, of course, because I'm going to share a little bit on the background information about flipped learning, and at the same time, the challenges that I have had during the pandemic. And of course, some takeaways that I have learned also during this process. At the same time, especially, I would like to stress and pinpoint some ideas regarding how I evolve regarding my teaching practices, how I plan my classes based on my students' needs, and of course, the context of the pandemic. So let's start. As I said before, hello and welcome. So we have this, we got an agenda for today's presentation. I would like to listen or read some comments based on your experience during the pandemic. Of course, we have been adapting ourselves, our teaching practices, our plans based on what we have been living for almost 1.5 years. The second part, I'm going to share some information regarding flipped learning approach. You will learn some concepts, how the concept evolved, and of course, the pillars and a little bit on Bloom's taxonomy regarding this approach. And then we will have an active pause. We are going to stretch a little bit and relax. And finally, I like to share to all of you some tips and based on my tryouts in my classes. So I hope that you guys are ready. I'm so excited and motivated to be here. So let's start. So as I said before, it has been a quiet journey, you know. COVID-19 started, and at UNICA, we call it our vice principle, since, well, it spread, and we have to embrace this fact and this situation. And we couldn't, at the beginning, we said, okay, it's like 1 month of classes at home in this emergency remote teaching. But no, it has been a year in which we started to have classes in our houses. And we had to take the plunge, of course, of starting to evolve, and of course, to start changing our perspective on the way that we plan our classes. So for that reason, I prepare a Mentimeter. This is a nice way to get information from all of you. So I prepared 2 questions. The first question is a yes/no question, and then we start the second one, in which you are going to share a little bit on the strategies or the activities that you implemented and which were successful in your classes. So I'm going to stop sharing a little bit here. I would like to share the link in the chat. Let me know if you have access to the Mentimeter.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Okay, so my first question is, have you innovated in your class? So we got 5 questions that yes, yes, girl, and maybe no, but don't worry. Thank you so much for your participation.
Excuse me, could you tell like what would an innovation mean? Like a definition?
Yes, of course. Something like an activity, a strategy that really worked for you, but that you take the plunge, that you had this opportunity to use in class and work well with your students.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your question. Okay, so we got 17 people say yes, 2 of you say no. That's okay. Now we go to the second question, and this is more related to what you did. Well, like try to explain a little bit on the topic. So let's see. Let's see the next one. It says, what have you implemented and it was successful? So try to explain what was this activity strategy, maybe a digital tool that you didn't know before, and then you start exploring and you use it in your class and work well with your students. Okay, so one teacher mentioned that activities that foster cooperation through technology. Okay, we got here Padlet maps, wonderful. Universal answers and asynchronous tasks, wonderful. Word clouds. Okay, gamification was used for reading with 6th graders. Yeah, of course, it's like a challenge because they need to feel motivated to learn, and of course, to the material. Virtual interactions and cross-cultural activities, literacy-based activities, connecting students' writing and reading skills. Well, wonderful. I have implemented SOFLA successfully during the pandemic. Vocabulary games at the beginning of the class, a secret word for them, and type 1, they see it, wonderful. Here we have, I have used different digital tools with my students like Pear Deck, Nearpod, Workwall, Padlet, Flipgrid, among others, wonderful. Reading points, goal to achieve, started using Flipgrid for testing my students' oral performance and exchanging peer feedback, wonderful. I don't like online boards from Zoom and Teams, so I decided to use Word docs that could even be shared later. Yeah, like this Vivid or editable documents, literature, differentiated products, Nearpod, Kahoot. I don't know this one, Pinturillo, I don't know, it's in Spanish. For vocabulary, Minecraft education, quiz, Padlet, Flipgrid, wonderful. Google Docs, for charts, filling out charts and information that they got from long readings, extensive readings, of course, and digital mind mapping. Okay, so thank you, teachers, for your ideas. I'm going to share and also find some information from the ones that I don't know, and I can feel motivated to use some of your ideas in my classes. So thank you so much. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. And according to today's agenda, we are going to know a little bit about flipped learning. So back in 2004, the Flipped Learning Network mentioned that the flipped learning, it's a pedagogical approach and it's related to direct instruction. So the pedagogical approach, I believe it's a key for me because it was like a way out, or a way to present information in the case of direct instruction, when I had to show the content or the topics of my classes, of my English classes. So I took advantage of this approach in my asynchronous and synchronous classes, so my students do not get bored. Imagine if you are talking for about 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, so your students start chatting, using their WhatsApp, listening to music, not paying attention, and plus they are living with their parents and siblings, so they have a lot of distraction going on. So this key pedagogical approach has two main components that we have to take into account in two different spaces. So the direct instruction, this is like what the way that or the content that I present to my students. I'm going to move that from the group learning space or the classes, face-to-face classes, or the synchronous classes, to the individual learning space. It means that I move this content outside the synchronous classes. And then the resultant group, which is the group space, is transformed in a dynamic, interactive, and learning environment. It means that the educator, the teacher, is the one who is using different strategies in class, different activities, in order to see the learning process of my students, of our students. And at the same time, we are guiding them in order to master several contents from our syllables. So based on this information, this concept that was in 2014 from the Flipped Learning Network, John Berman also mentions, he is one of the creators who coined the term, also Aaron Sams, about flipped learning. But he mentions that flipped learning is the meta strategy that allows all the other strategies to happen in the classroom. It means that we are using the time in the synchronous class, these moments in which we get together with our students, and we take advantage of this for this time to provide opportunities to our students to actually learn. They can have different activities to master a topic. We can guide them through the process, and we have more time for evaluation because we are taking out this content outside our classes. And a great friend of mine and colleague, Carolina Rodriguez Buitrago, she has a different concept about flipped learning. In her own words, she mentions that flipped learning is a compassionate teaching methodology. She says that it's about compassion. Compassion means the love as the center of the process. So it means that love in both ways, from the teacher and from students' perspective. So it means that the teacher feel motivated to teach, and students understand that they feel motivated to learn all the time. At the same time, we will see that we have love for our students. So we care what's going on in their lives. So we want to have them learn, yeah? And we also want to guide them through the process. So we want to know their needs, if they have challenges with the language, or if we want to go deeper, understand what's going on in their lives. So flipped learning, it's a way to actually use the time in a meaningful way with our students. So we are not focusing not only on the content, but also we are connecting to our students' lives. So in that sense, our students are placed at the center of the learning process. And this is what matters the most, because that's at the same time, teachers are architects of attentive, meaningful, and intentional learning experience for both spaces, inside and outside the classroom, or the asynchronous classes and synchronous classes. So based on this information that we have had about the concept of flipped learning and how it evolved through the years, we have to take into account that this approach is related to Bloom's taxonomy pyramid. As you know, we have the high order thinking skills and low order thinking skills that are divided in different parts of the pyramid. But Pilgrim had this pyramid, and it's upside down because she wanted to focus on two parts: what happens outside the classroom, which is remembering and understanding, which is the low order thinking skills, and then inside the classroom, or in our synchronous classes, we have the time for applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. So I'm going to talk a little bit on each one of these parts of the pyramid, and in this version that we have from Jessica Pilgrim. So remembering, as I said before, it's outside the classroom. We are going to connect the content that we are giving from the direct instruction with the background knowledge of our students. So students are trying to understand the concept, trying to connect to their life. So for example, if you're teaching present simple, so we are giving examples from real life habits or real life information from our students. So for example, if you are using a needs analysis survey at the beginning of the semester of the year, you can ask your students about their hobbies. So you can use these examples in this information in these videos, sorry. And then we will have also understanding. So it means that we have already talked a little bit on present simple, the structure of it, giving examples for different purposes. And then they have to demonstrate this concept by writing examples, by defining present simple in context. And also you can take advantage of this information and include peer explanation or peer instruction in the class. So when they are working on their own, and then they in class they have doubts that we can solve, of course, but also I also take an opportunity of using Zoom in breakout rooms so they can explain to each other the concept. If they have doubts, I always use a KW chart so we can solve the doubts of the topic. And then in the moment that we have with our students, we have the time for applying. So this is the moment that we use this information in a new but similar situation. So we can use a diagram, make a chart, draw, apply, solve a problem, calculate, etc. Then we have the analyzing part. It means that we will have to identify some commonalities, differences, the structure of it. So we can start with analyzing, then applying. It's up to you the way that you organize it based on what your students need. And this is what I mentioned before regarding evaluation. So when we are in the classroom, we are always giving students we are teaching, and sometimes in a traditional class, we are teaching, we have some practice, even sometimes we don't have time for practicing, but there is like time for evaluating at the end of the semester, during the semester, or in the middle of the year, or period. But the thing here is that in class, we can have summative or formative assessment. So we know how is their learning process going on regarding a topic. So it means that we can continue giving students some more practice on the topic, right? And of course, at the same time, we will know what are their doubts, and we can help them solve these doubts by giving more practice and by also guide them in the process. And finally, this is related to projects. We can use the information to create something new, like design, build, construct, plan, produce a task. So it's connected of going deeper. It means that we have these new tasks that we can explore for 1 week, 2 weeks, related to several content or one topic related, for example, to grammar or to a skill. So it means that they will have, for example, they have to prepare a presentation, or maybe they have to design material and present it. So it means that we are giving students the step-by-step moments in the class and outside the class in order to go deeper by creating a task that is kind of meaningful for them. So this is related to the Bloom's taxonomy and how we inverted this pyramid based on what happens in these two spaces, outside the class and in the class. And finally, I would like to talk a little bit on the 4 pillars, well, regarding flipped learning. And we need to use this information that I have shared before that happens during the class with Bloom's taxonomy, high order thinking skills and low order thinking skills. And we need to take into account the flipped learning. It's like an umbrella term, and it's on the basis of the 4 pillars. So the 4 pillars are flexible environment, learning culture, intentional content, and professional educators. So let's start with the first one. When we're talking about the flexible environment, it means that we are using strategies and activities that help our students to reach the goal, but at the same time, we are differentiating these activities based on the students' variances. It means that I need to understand what are my students' needs. Based on language, I need to see what my students like, and also their interests. So we are planning all the classes based on this information, and we are using differentiation. At the same time, we have the learning culture. It means the scaffolding. We cannot ask our students to write a text. For example, in my case, I'm teaching an advanced course, English advanced course, and they have to write, for example, an essay of 5 paragraphs. I'm not going to ask my students, okay, for tomorrow's class, you will write a 5-paragraph essay about this topic. Well, I'm not differentiating. When I'm differentiating means that I have a list of topics and they can choose one from the list based on what they like. And of course, I mentioned scaffolding. It means that it's a step-by-step process. In terms of writing, based on what I have implemented in my classes and have worked so far, I believe, is that I use the writing process. For example, I have time to give them an example. A 5-paragraph essay, they have to identify the elements of the essay by using colors. So by color coding, they identify the hook, the thesis, the 3 main arguments. For example, if I'm using APA, so they need to understand how it works in text citation, etc. Then I have my students to, in the asynchronous time, they have to research on the topic that they chose from the list. How amazing is that? So, okay, I need to write, but before that, I need to understand the topic and read about it. So I have the time, I give them the time, to read. And then in class, we start with the brainstorming part. So they start looking for vocabulary. We have in this brainstorming part of session that my students communicate to each other, and they start sharing ideas because some of them have chosen the same topic, so they can learn from their partners. Then we have another class or another week, they have the time for the outline. And I give them, we have peer feedback by using a checklist, and then they have my feedback and they improve it. After that, they write their first draft or the first version of this essay. And actually, I break these moments in parts. So they start writing the intro and the first body paragraph. Next month, they have the second body paragraph and third body paragraphs. But I have always included peer feedback, my feedback, and they improved. So at the end, when they give you these 5-paragraph essay, it's a well done product, so you can feel motivated to evaluate it. So then the next pillar is the intentional content, is when you feel motivated to start curating and creating your own materials. So now with this pandemic and 1.5 years of learning from each other, to also to attend to different webinars, to start exploring new digital tools, this is the moment that we can be creating, magicians, architects, on creating materials that can be created on your own, or you can take information from the internet and actually adapt it based on what you want to achieve from your students. And finally, we have the last pillar, is related to professional educators. This pillar is related to what is happening today. It's like to attend to a webinar that you can learn from colleagues, or also you can take a course that you want to, maybe because you want to learn something new. So it's like an open space. It's the internet gives you an open space for you to find information, new information, and that you always are creating a great community with your colleagues. So, and also if you share something new, you can talk to your colleagues in school or the university and tell, okay, I have already used this digital tool, it works. I would like to share to all of you this material. So it's like a community that we are creating based on this last pillar. So what's the purpose of flipping? According to two authors I have read so far, that it's Rhonda Bondi and Akane Tsusho. They wrote the book Differentiating Instruction Made Practical. This book, it's about differentiation, and they mentioned that when we are including new strategies, we need to take into account and the students' motivation, and we need to boost this motivation. And the authors mentioned that we can alter a task based on the students' needs. So, and we are promoting differentiation on that matter, because we are listening to what they need so we can adapt. So we can give them options in order while they are learning, so they can master a topic fully and they feel motivated to accomplish the task. And as I said before, the tasks must be relevant to their lives. Anyways, they are going to do it well, they are not actually going to do it. And so that's why they feel demotivated. And finally, clear evaluation criteria. What I mean by that is that these two authors, Bondi and Tsusho, they mentioned that we need to give the students, and of course talk to them about the goals that they have to achieve, and also the criteria that we are going to use to evaluate them and the process. So remember that we have summative and formative assessment, but anyhow, we need to implement evaluation criteria, a clear one. Sometimes I give my students the items, they read them and they say, okay, teacher, but these two are like similar. So you are evaluating the same thing, and say, oh, yeah, you're right. So sometimes we negotiate on that matter. So I was thinking about understanding by design. This is an awesome way to plan. So when we have an objective in mind, we need to take into account the activities, like the steps that we need in order to students achieve an objective. And when we have this objective at sight at the beginning of the semester or the period of the year, the school, we understand and we know which are the criteria that we have to take into account in our evaluation instruments. So when I was reading this book and taking a course about this book, I realized that we need to really understand our students' variances so we can start adapting and also giving them the options to choose so they can produce a task, a product. So motivation is the key. And we can do that by flipping because we have the time to do so in the class. So next one. Oh, sorry. So I have already finished talking a little bit on flip learning about the concept and how it evolved, and of course, some important information regarding the pillars and Bloom's taxonomy pyramid. So it's time for an active pause. So are you guys ready? Let me know if you're ready. Thank you, Adriana. Yes. So I have this awesome tool. A great friend of mine, a colleague, Yasmin, shared this tool to all the colleagues at UNICA. I'm going to stop my presentation now. So I have this video in which we are going to relax a little bit. Okay. Let me know if you can listen to it.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So you are going to watch this video, and this is a video to relax a little bit. So you have to follow the steps that are given in the video. So let's start.
Melting, melting, melting. We all have those moments when we freeze. We can't move, we can't think. But with practice, we can get good at melting that frozen feeling. Let's freeze up and then melt. Stand up in a spot with a little space around you. Cross your arms and hold your shoulders with your hands. Carefully tuck your chin down and in. Tighten as many muscles in your body as you can. Let your body be frozen, like an ice statue. Feet tight, legs tense, belly tight, shoulders up. Now, even make a frozen face. Close your eyes, your mouth, your jaw, tight. Feeling frozen? Really still? Now, little by little, begin to melt. Let your chin stay low as your face softens and melts. Your jaw opens slightly, your eyes blink open, just a little. Your mouth and cheeks melt and feel soft. You're melting. Let your shoulders melt and go down. Hands let go. Arms glide down to your sides, melting. Let your legs melt too. Soften and bend. Melt. Try to melt all the way to the floor. Down, down, down. Let yourself be a blob, a puddle on the floor. Melted all the way to soft. Exhale long. Once frozen and tight, and now melted, a little more at ease. Let's do it again. This time, choose your own frozen statue. Be creative. Freeze your arms. Freeze your legs. Freeze your face. Make a funny face if you'd like. Freeze there. Tighten. Freeze, freeze, freeze. You're frozen. Close your eyes or keep them open. Stay frozen for just one more moment. Ready to melt? One icy part of you at a time begins to melt. Face, eyes, jaw, head, chin goes down, shoulders drop, fingers soften and droop, hands too, arms float down. You are melting. Let your legs allow you to melt down to the floor. Melt, 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 droop, settle, and rest. Melted. Try to feel at ease here. Soft. Check in on your body. Is any area still frozen? Notice that tightness. Melt it if you wish. Rest here. Breathe. Eyes are open or closed. Next time you feel frozen, in your mind or in your body, try to melt it away.
Okay, thank you so much. I hope that you have taken advantage to relax a little bit. So how do you feel? So you can write in the chat. True.
Love it. We needed that.
Thank you. Wonderful. You did melt. Okay, so we will continue with the presentation. We have already had the active pause. Now, according to our agenda, I'm going to share to all of you my tips, strategies, and of course, some tryouts that I have had for this year and a half. So I would like to start talking a little bit on choice boards and learning menus. So the first one is about learning menus. According to Cummins in 2000, sorry, the typo, these are designed to motivate students through offering several courses of choices. So it means that students can explore different options. So this is an example that I have used with my students, and this learning menu was created based on needs analysis survey that I had with my students and an interview that I had with them at the beginning of the semester. So I knew the struggles that they had in the previous course, English course. So for that reason, I created some parts of the menu. As you can see, we have to take into account like courses of choices. So we have the first part, which is the appetizers. We can create a set of activities that they can do all, or they can choose at least 2 or 3 of them. So the purpose of these activities is to hook the students. It means that we need to give them, okay, a nice activity so they will see that they will practice a topic, but it's through a game, through a small text or a video. And then we have the entries, and sometimes we can find it as main course or side dishes, like main dishes and side dishes, sorry. In here, you can give them only one activity. So all the class can do it. Or as I did here, we have 4 of them because I wanted to implement differentiation. I wanted to have my students to choose one of them. So it was really nice because I used these entries at the in the synchronous class, so I had the time to guide them through this process. And then finally, we have the desserts. Those are like extra activities. As you know, we can have a dessert in the menu, or we can say, I'm on a diet, thank you so much. But maybe students can choose one of them from the list. So it's like an extension of the previous activities that they had before. So my recommendation, as you see, okay, are my students going to do all these activities in one class? No, it's impossible. I have this open for 1 month. Or maybe you can use one of them in the class, and the rest of them, they can develop these activities outside the class. So it's up to you, but we need to give them the time, and we need to scaffold the process. It's not, no way they can do it in one class, in 2 hours class or 1 hour class. So this is related to the learning menus. And of course, I have an example of choice boards. So this is a picture of a choice board. It's, as you see, it has the structure of a tic-tac-toe. As you see, we have an objective in mind, and they have to develop, well, in this case, we have 2 hours class, and they have to choose 2, or they can develop all the activities. And so we are differentiating because we take into account students' level and readiness, because we have high achievers and low achievers. So based on that fact, maybe I have 2 students who completed all the tasks. So I have this, this is the original document. As you see, we have the Think-Tacto structure. I included Flipgrid videos. Actually, I recycled the activity, and I use this activity for my students to leave comments, okay, and provide feedback or write a question on the videos that they posted before. And also that they share pictures from some notes that they have already taken based on an activity was a hypertalk related to grammar. Also, I gave them an opportunity to explore and see the pronunciation. And I also included a song or a word vocabulary activity, and also I included an active pause. We have a Batman, a Batgirl workout. I had 2 quizzes from Kahoot, and finally they had to watch a video and record a minute video. That was the hardest activity. So this is a choice board based on what they have already accomplished from the grammar activity. So you are given the option of choosing 1, 2, or if they have the time to accomplish all the tasks, that's wonderful. So that's related to choice boards. And then another strategy that I would like to recommend to all of you is to take the plunge to create your own videos and to record them. So what do you need? You need a PowerPoint presentation with the topic, with the explanation of it. And Screencast-O-Matic is a free tool that you can take advantage. You can record your camera, use your camera from your computer, of course, and you can record the screen. So I usually use these 2 tools, PowerPoint and Screencast-O-Matic, in order to give my students or present a topic. And then my other recommendation, if you feel shy to record your own videos, you can curate the videos that you can find on YouTube. There are some web pages in which you can trim the videos. You can edit the duration of the video. Or another way is to use Powtoon, Prezi, uploading the presentation, and Prezi gives you the possibility to record video, presented it. And finally, PlayPosit, which is a wonderful way to provide and boost your videos by giving interactive questions. So I have the video, I upload the video and included questions throughout the presentation. And I included multiple choice question, open questions. You can include surveys or active pauses. This is an awesome tool if you want to include interactivity in the content that you are presenting. So this is an opportunity, an invitation again to start curating and creating your own videos. So some recommendations, please record the videos maximum 9 minutes, because then students get bored or distracted. I always present the objective of the topic at the beginning of the presentation. And I give them a set of rules. So for example, I always tell them to take notes, and they actually follow a format of Cornell notes. And they have to have sometimes I actually ask them to share or take a picture of their notes and send it to my email or to our WhatsApp group. So I'm making sure that students are taking notes, that they have questions, or maybe I can see that there are doubts. And based on these questions, I prepare my class. So I have an open space for them to ask these questions, and I can solve these questions at the beginning of the synchronous class. And then as you have already experienced, active pauses. Those are wonderful. So I am in the middle of the class and I say, okay, I have a Go Noodle video. They are related to mindfulness, and also there are ones that you have to stretch a little bit, and of course dancing. It's wonderful. I recommend this web page. Sharing objects. I use Zoom, and I, for example, tell my students, okay, it's the time to turn the cameras on, and you are going to show an object that you really like, and or maybe a photo from their childhood, and I give them the time and start looking for this object and start sharing and commenting on why they believe that it's meaningful, or the object or the picture, so they can share a little bit about their lives during the class. So that's wonderful. And some Buggle, actually Carolina Rodriguez helped me with this idea. So we can ask our students to write in a piece of paper a letter from the alphabet. And then when you count to 3, they have to show the letter like this. And then they have to, you can choose one student from the class, and they have to create a word based on what they see in the cameras and the letters they can see in the camera. So that's a really nice active pause. So actually you are also given the opportunity to practice vocabulary. So that's nice. So that's related to active pauses. And then we have collaboration in class. I have already implemented writing assignments. I gave you an example before about writing extensive essays. And I have some examples that I would like to show you related to writing. Of course, I also have planned an activity related to listening that we can promote collaboration, reading by using perusal, and finally a vocabulary using Jamboard. So I have here my examples. Oh, that's the choice board. Let me close this. So this is a writing assignment, and what I meant by collaboration, I created the groups, but all the groups were working in the same document. So they have to describe this chart, and they have to work in the breakout rooms, and they have to describe the chart about, well, that's female and male literacy rates. And they have to follow a structure that I have already explained. And I was checking their progress and giving comments, and also visiting their breakout rooms and asking questions about what they were writing. And then next class, we have peer assessment. So I included here like criteria that they can use and write yes, no, or in progress based on the items that were described there. And also included amazing criteria just for the ones who were going deeper in the task. That's related to writing. And related to listening, well, I divide students into A and B groups, and they have 2 different videos. In the case of student B, they have to watch a video of a school that was called Strawberry Mansion and High, located in Philadelphia, and they have to complete this chart. They make a copy of the document and they took notes on the topic. And then I again sent students to breakout rooms, so they were sharing the information that they had from student A and B. And finally, I would like to show you a little bit on Perusal. This is an awesome web page that I have used in order to, that I have used for reading assignments. So I uploaded the link of this reading topic about Easter Island statues, and they had to make some speculations using models in present and past, and also future. So you have the possibility, or students have the possibility to highlight and write comments. So you will see here an example. So they can, for example, I can write questions and students answer the question, or they can write, in this case, the speculation. And they were asking if the students believe, or they thoughts regarding this speculation. So they were having a conversation. So they use, for example, this @ and write the name, and they know if the conversation, they knew the conversation, if the question was for a specific person or for the whole group. So it was really nice to use this type of activity. So they were collaborating at the same time, and it was not a boring activity. So they were reading on their own and then asking or answering the simple questions on multiple choice questions. So it's a really nice way. So they were all together participating, especially for shy students. So let me go back to the presentation. So that's related to collaboration. And then if we have the time, I would like to share a little bit about flip instructions. This is, as I said before, for shy students, for problems with connectivity. We can use these flip instructions, so you don't have to repeat again and again, but the same thing. And they were working on their own in the breakout rooms, and they knew what to do. So we have some things to take into account regarding the roles. Each one of the students has a role, for example, organizer, question asker, question taker, reporter, the time that they have to accomplish the task, also the steps of the task. So I created like a list of 5 topics or 5 moments of the task. And finally, it's English. So I included useful language that they can use at the moment of interacting with their partners. So at the end, after the 15 minutes, the reporter takes the opportunity to share the most meaningful information that they had while they were discussing in the groups. And finally, we have evaluation. As you have seen, I can use, or you can use, for example, checklists and rubrics. And it's important that we include, for example, criteria related to must-have, that's what they have to accomplish. And you can include amazing criteria according to Sujo and Boundy. They mentioned that we need to include these amazing criteria so students feel motivated to go beyond in their tasks. So that's related to evaluation and flipped learning in general, and some strategies, activities that I have used during the pandemic and before that. And I hope that that you can take advantage of these strategies, of these ideas. And thank you again so much, Asocopy, and all of you for your participation. So here it's my personal information, email, and Twitter handle. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much, Juliana, again, for that amazing presentation. I guess it was very insightful, and I guess we'll leave full of ideas and things to think about and how to include them in our classes. So that was really, really insightful. And thank you also for that needed break that you gave us. It was really nice as well. Well, before we go on with the questions, I guess we have some time. I want to remind our participants to go to the link that we shared with you. I am just going to share it again, and to complete the information that you have in that form for a chance to participate in that raffle that we are going to have at the end for a ticket for the event that I mentioned before. So now let's go with the question session. So I don't know if any of the participants want to share a question or comment. So you can type them in the chat box, or you can use your microphone if you want. Well, we are getting a lot of thanks in here. Well, someone called Professor, I want to learn more about the strategies you share. Wonderful presentation. Juli, thank you. Thank you. Well, very interesting, great presentation, fantastic. Great presentation. Thanks for sharing. It was very clear. Thank you for the presentation. I would like to get the recording, please. I am interested in this topic, sorry. Remember that we are also sharing this on YouTube, so you can go to the YouTube channel of ASOCOPI, and there you can find the presentation, okay? Any question? It says, where can teachers, Adriana is asking, where can teachers learn more about it?
By attending the webinars from ASOCOPI.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's really helpful. That's right. That's true. Any other website or any other place where they can find extra information, or what about the book that you publish or articles?
Yeah, it actually was a joke. Yeah, but of course, webinars are wonderful tools that you can learn from other colleagues around the world. And of course, reading. There are wonderful, in Amazon, you can buy in Kindle these books. My recommendation also ask your colleagues about the materials that they are using. There are blogs, for example, from Carolina Rodriguez, from Marta Ramirez, that they are always sharing amazing strategies and tips for our teaching practices. So yeah, it's like always feel motivated to continue learning. And the internet is there, so we can find free material. And if you are interested to use the material that I have shared during the presentation, of course, you can send an email, and I will be so happy to share the links so you can have access to the materials and templates.
Thank you, Juliana. So could you please share or show us your email again? Your email address, so the participants can take note of that. Okay, that's it. It's j.diaz@unica.edu.co. So you can email her to go deeper on the topic. And as Juliana was saying, the internet is also really helpful for this. Okay.
Yeah, and of course, at UNICA, we have webinars, free webinars. If you go to our YouTube channel from UNICA, Institución Universitaria Colombo Americana, you can see a lot of webinars about student-centered activities, about social emotional learning or skills. So you can start checking, cacharrear. Yeah, looking for this information.
Okay, we are also getting some ideas in here. It says, hi Enrique, you will find more webinars about this and other topics on YouTube. Another person, Nasli de la Cruz, is also thanking you for the interesting
Carolina mentioned a book that
Mm-hmm.
is called The Differentiating Flipped Classroom. Yep, I have it here. Oh, I don't know if you can see it.
Okay, yeah.
Yes,
now we can
this
see.
one. It's wonderful that you can read, or The Differentiated Classroom from Carol Tomlinson. That's another one that you can use. I don't know, it's because of the Zoom background.
Okay,
So
we
I'm
have a
going to
question.
type it.
Oh, yeah. Carolina already typed one, so you can also do the other one. There is a question from Carlos Humberto Leal Zapata. He says, how can you differentiate content when students work independently? What tools can help you to do this?
Well, in order to differentiate content, we need to know the students' variances related to level, background, also students' readiness. So I also have, at the beginning of the semester, I implement a survey to know their language level and also their interests. So based on these facts, I start creating the materials. So I use different tools. You have seen, for example, Jamboard, Padlet, Flipgrid videos. So I give them the possibility to, if they feel shy, maybe they don't feel okay to record a video, but using a Padlet, they can write their opinion. So it's like giving options, so they can choose one from the list.
Well, thank you. Well, I guess we don't have more questions. And again, Juliana, thank you very much. I guess
you, Eliana. Thank you so much.
everybody was really engaged with your presentation, and we were paying a lot of attention to the links and the tools and all the information, of course, how to implement them. Good. So as we promised before, and at the beginning, we are going to share some our screen. I guess Adriana is going to share the screen now. And we are going to have this raffle to see who is the lucky participant who is going to get that ticket. So Adriana, if you are ready. And remember, don't go, stay here. Just a couple of minutes.
Please don't go, wait a minute.
Don't go.
All right, we're going to do everything step by step so everybody knows that this is crystal clear. First thing we're going to do is that we are not going to take any more answers. So we can have the names of people here. And it takes just a minute. Here are all your names, the people who register for the raffle. We're going to take your names as they go, as they are here, and copy them in a wheel of names that we have open here. As you can see, there are 27 names, just as they were on the Excel. And we are going to shuffle them. It is programmed from 25 to 30 seconds. And I am sorry, I forgot to share, I don't know, I am sharing audio as well. Yeah, so the first one is the winner. Are you guys ready? Let's see who's going to New Directions. And the winner. Diana Carolina Hernandez Tovar, you're getting a ticket to attend to the New Directions event from the British Council. Congratulations, Diana Carolina.
Thank you so much.
We will be in touch.
All right.
Yeah, well, so that's it. That was the end, and that's everything. So a great presentation, and also a small present for you for being here with us. Remember to be here and check the social media from Asocopy to see the next topic of the webinar that we will have on July. Okay, so welcome. Bye-bye, and thank you for being in here. Thank you.